Another week, another great band I've slept for
I've slept before. Another band I've slept with. All right, come on, let's reel it. Let's reel this in. Come on.
we let those hoes run.
Let those hairs run around. How about the National Mustard Museum, Middleton, Wisconsin? Of course, it holds the world's largest collection of the nefarious condiment. For the founder, there is no substitute. If you dare say the K word, founder and curator Barry Levinson will loudly toot his honk of shame. No word if relish has a sound effect at this time. Okay, which of the following is true about the iron lung? A, the first iron lung was invented in 1925 in Essen, Germany. B, boredom was one of the biggest problems, so mirrors were added so the patients could look at themselves. C, the slender, compact Smith-Clark Sr. iron lung, invented in 1953, was nicknamed the Crocodile. Or D, the earliest experimental versions were actually modified coffins.
I mean, nuclear scientist sounds important and all, but I don't see how that meshes with my knowledge of craft brewing. Not everyone has my nose for hops.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
Snaggletooth coming to smack dab in the middle of MDF weekend.
Well, the last night, but we're gluttons for punishment, so we also have a show coming up on Tuesday for this show.
Yep.
And yes, it will feature Final Gasp and Blood Vultures at the Otter Bar.
Yep.
I will definitely live stream.
Yep. Yep.
But for those of you more into extreme things, check out the Snaggletooth Decay Extreme Music Podcast on Instagram. I have put up tons of live streams from some of the best bands we saw.
And we'll have a full MDF breakdown on next week's show.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but in the meantime, get a job. Not sure if they even do this anymore, but back when we were kids, they had these like written tests you could take, and it would recommend your future vocation based on your answers. I want to say it was like Myers Squibb or something. I don't remember. That's probably wrong. But they would come back with all your career recommendations a few weeks later, and they were oddly specific sometimes.
I thought it was by the same people who did those reading lab things, which were also.
I could be. I don't know. I don't remember.
I remember they had me as a librarian and/or an old maid. Second option was the already equally antiquated night court stenographer. I hadn't even learned to type yet.
How did it actually say old maid?
No, just because I kept thinking of It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
Where's my wife? She's closing up the library. You're not gonna like it. She's an old maid. That's what I kept hearing in my head.
I don't see that as one of the options, you know. But anyway, sorry.
Sorry, it came from that.
Yeah.
Albert's financial acumen and the love of cabinetry leads us to believe he would excel as a real estate agent. We are realtors.
Susan's athletic prowess and passion for inflatables has us leaning in the direction of pro cycler or sextile creator as her designated profession. Barry's all but non-existent personality, coupled with his ability to avoid controversy at all costs, sets him up as the perfect candidate for either an HR manager or maybe even a principal. You know, we didn't put a lot of stock in these, profiles when they came back when I was a kid. I mean, how can a few basic questions tell you enough to recommend your entire career? I think mine came back with several completely unrelated matches. Mark would be great as an astronaut, a dry cleaner, or a regional game show host. I don't even know what that means.
Probably as good as those quizzes in Cosmopolitan. Are you a narcissist? In 12 questions.
Actually, regional game show host is the closest to this, probably.
Could be circus performer.
Yeah.
Always wondered if anyone's survey came back with career survey creator as a recommended profession. You had way too much fun taking this assessment, Mr. Shoemaker. Join the dark side.
Things are much better now in terms of communication with the internet and stuff, but I was originally going to get into advertising when I was in college, but this dickhead professor talked me out of it sophomore year. I told him I had a knack for coming up with creative ideas. You think? He nixed it, saying I'd never succeed in advertising unless I was really good at statistics, which I hated. Made no sense at all. That's like saying you can't succeed in the wrestling team because of all your overdue library books.
I've often thought about how great it would have been to mess with the test results back then. Send kids off on the entirely wrong path and see how they end up. Love your chemistry set and president of the math club? I think Lion Tamer is the perfect match for little Timmy. Wanda's extravagant wardrobe and flair for fine cosmetics aside, she's ready for a career drilling for cobalt.
All right, go Wanda. We were a little more willing to follow along with the professional advice from these exams back in the day, but I don't think Gen Zs would have anything to do with it. A pharmacist? Obviously not. You didn't take into account my Quidditch skills. I should be slamming quaffles, not counting pills or arguing about insurance cards. The only reason you're suggesting firefighter is because you haven't seen my impression of Lego Batman. Want to see? Hey, where are you going?
I mean, nuclear scientist sounds important and all, but I don't see how that meshes with my knowledge of craft brewing. Not everyone has my nose for hops. I'm sure the staff would disagree with some assessments too. Veterinarian? Susan is afraid of chihuahuas. That test didn't uncover her allergy to fur. The only animal she can treat without severe wheezing is a goldfish or maybe Build-A-Bear. Plus, she practically unionized the lunch mothers last week. I can hear welders, local 151, calling her name.
Okay, want to talk about a feature interview?
Our feature interview this week is with Marina, Lavelle, and Matt Mitchell of the Oregon-based post-metal band Burial Clouds. We have a great chat that covers how Marina came to front the band, the pros and cons of their fierce DIY spirit, and their making of their amazing new album, Burn Holy. We get into the absurdities of festival culture, even Marina's flair for bringing perfect snacks. So stay tuned for that. Let's play a song. This is Windflower.
Okay, let's talk about Hope for the Day. Hope for the Day is a wonderful organization created to honor the friends and family members lost to suicide. Founded in 2011, HFTD started in the Chicago music scene during outreach and has evolved into a major force for mental health awareness through programs like The Things We Don't Say. Their mission is to encourage early intervention for mental health challenges and to help disrupt the risk factors that can lead to suicide.
Let's face it, so much of social media feels completely fake. Influencers would have you believe life is one endless stroll through a gorgeous Italian village in a size 0 bikini, sipping a protein smoothie, but that's not reality. Everyone has problems, everyone has insecurities, everyone struggles sometimes.
Suicide often arises when someone believes there are no resources available to end their suffering. Reaching that point can happen through many different paths, but almost all of them involve feeling isolated, unheard, or unable to communicate, the psychological impact of what someone is experiencing.
If you or someone you know has ever found themselves in that dark place, please visit the link below and explore the resources Hope for the Day can offer. And please remember, this world is a better place because you are in it.
Unfortunately, all hope ends now because it's time. Hit it.
And now it's time for Obnoxious Trivia!
Okay, this is a work of art today, I'm not going to lie. Okay,
Fair.
question number 1, here we go. In 2009, Russian pole vaulter Yelena Isinbayeva set the women's pole vaulting record in Zurich, Switzerland at 16 feet, 7.25 inches. How many times has she broken the indoor and outdoor records for the sport? A, 27 times, B, 18 times, C, 13 times, or D, 31 times? Yelena Isinbayeva.
2007. I don't think she could have done 31 times because it would be
2009.
2009. We think add 31 to that. You're at 24.
Wait, but there's two different. It's indoor and outdoor. She was in indoor and outdoor. So,
See,
yeah.
I'm trying to do math on your ass. That's not going
That's
to
why I
work.
put indoor and outdoor. Yeah, it's a combination of.
I guess it could be more than once a year.
I don't know. I'm not an expert in pole vaulting.
Apparently so. All right, I'll put 27 times. That sounds like a nice round number.
Ding, ding, ding. Very good. Yes. She broke the record 27 times. 2009 was her most recent. So, yeah.
I guess 7 because it was 7.5 inches, so a quarter.
Okay. All right, you're 1-0.
Very scientific.
Number 2, which of the following auditions actually did happen during, wait a minute, which of the following auditions actually did happen according to Mixdown.com? A, Dimebag Darrell from Pantera auditioned for Kiss. B, Slash auditioned for Deep Purple. C, Michael Bolton auditioned for Black Sabbath. Or D, Les Claypool auditioned for Rage Against the Machine.
Actually did happen.
Yeah, only one.
I'll say Les Claypool audition for Rage Against the Machine.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It was Michael Bolton auditioned for Black Sabbath.
Said that.
He really did. It didn't go well. Yeah, it wasn't a good match. It was right after Dio left. They had a ton of people that auditioned, but yeah, Michael Bolton was one of them. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine Michael Bolton singing "Paranoid"? You know, like. Which of the following is true about leopard slugs? A, they can choose to mate as a male or a female. B, the male screams a mating call at the female that can reach 125 decibels. C, the male has to find her a bug to feed on that will take the full duration of mating. Or D, the male inflates his pink head to catch the attention of the female.
Wow, there's
Leopard slugs.
leopard slugs.
They're so zany.
Gosh, that could be any of those. I've seen really weird mating rituals in birds. So I'll say maybe D. He has to inflate his pink head because there's so many birds that have.
No, it's actually A, they can choose to mate as a male or female. Can you imagine that? Like, if we're gonna have sex, I could be like, do you want to be the man this time? You want me to be the man? It's kind of kinky, you know. Think about it. I'm a little jealous of the leopard slug.
I didn't
Actually.
know they had strap-ons.
No, that's strap-ons. Like they literally can switch. The miracle of nature. All right, so you're 1 and 2 at this point. All right, let's see. Can she go 500, folks? Let's see. Okay, which of the following is true about the iron lung? A, the first iron lung was invented in 1925 in Essen, Germany. B, boredom was one of the biggest problems, so mirrors were added so the patients could look at themselves. C, the slender, compact Smith-Clark Sr. iron lung, invented in 1953, was nicknamed the Crocodile. Or D, the earliest experimental versions were actually modified coffins.
God, this all
Iron.
seems
Iron
plausible.
lungs.
I don't think you would want to look at yourself while you're in one of these contraptions. I don't think that would help at all. I'll say the slender, compact, the Smith Clark were called the Crocodile.
Very close. They were actually called the alligator. No, the correct answer was the mirrors.
Really?
It's the only thing they could think to do because you'd be in there for hours and hours, day after day.
You're supposed to go.
They have a picture of a kid doing just that. Like, oh look, here's my face. I only have 6 more hours to go. Yeah. So 1 right, 3 wrong. Yeah. Yeah, well, we covered everything in that one.
Well,
Yeah. All right, you can hit them all. It's been obnoxious trivia.
transgender.
You saw inflated pink head and went crazy. Running, yeah.
I just know there's all those birds that do that weird thing where they do a dance.
They were all things that other animals do. Like the pink head was like some other kind of worm, and the screaming at 125 decibels, that was some bird that does that. So I just looked at
They're crazy, or they
it screams right in the female's face, 125 decibels. I mean, that's like hard to ignore in advance.
Motorhead levels.
Okay. All right, it's time for our Snaggletune, and we're going to call this one Little Shop of Horrors.
The Museum of Jurassic Technology in Los Angeles is one of those places where after one tour, your brain starts to itch. It was founded in 1988 by David Hildebrand Wilson and Diana Drake Wilson and describes itself as an educational institution dedicated to the advancement of knowledge and the public appreciation of the lower Jurassic. Technology? Sculosaurus's streaming app? Space exploration during the Sumerian epoch? It's like as if a place was called the Academy of Medieval Wi-Fi and then just acted offended that you had questions. Jurassic technology is never really defined. It just feels like an oxymoron. And the museum absolutely refuses to clarify any of this. Then you find out the exhibits have varying and uncertain degrees of authenticity, which seems to indicate creative lying.
They should have put up a sign that said, "Truth be told, we made some of this shit up."
Even critics walk in and out and leave confused. A writer for the New York Times described it as a museum about other museums.
How about the National Mustard Museum, Middleton, Wisconsin, of course. It holds the world's largest collection of the nefarious condiment. For the founder, there is no substitute. If you dare say the K word, founder and curator Barry Levinson will loudly toot his honk of shame. No word if relish has a sound effect at this time. Apparently, it all started in 1986 after the Boston Red Sox lost the World Series. Levinson was so depressed, he wandered into an all-night grocery store, unable to sleep, when he passed the mustard aisle. He heard a voice that said, "If you collect us, they will come," in some crazy field of dreams-like scenario. Today, the museum features over 6,000 jars, bottles, and tins from 80 countries. I am pretty sure he can spare some Grey Poupon.
From the mustard vending machine to the mustard piece theater, the museum is all things yellow to spicy brown to seedy and fancy. Of course, there's a tasting bar where you can sample some 60 mustards, including recent winners of the worldwide mustard competition, which is, of course, held at the museum. Test your palate, detecting notes of red wine and horseradish.
The Mütter Museum is what happens when medicine, unwitting cadavers, and morbid curiosity collide. Run by the College of Physicians of Philadelphia, it's essentially a time capsule of medical history via body parts and other curiosities, including those poor humans who achieved immortality they never wanted, becoming exhibits to be gawked at for years to come.
The Hyrtl Skull Collection, 139 human skulls lined up, 'cause I guess around 140 would have been one head too many. Observe the toothy smiles, all of them begging for a cameo role in Macbeth. We're talking a major head trip, people.
Then there's the Soap Lady, a 19th century woman whose remains transformed into a waxy soap-like substance, basically a mummy who for some reason was exhumed from a cemetery and put on display for all. Madge, I'm soaking in it. And right next to that, casually displayed, is Albert Einstein's brain, or at least sections of it, because viewing the genius brain just might make us smarter.
Finally, we come to Chang and Ang, Siamese twins plaster death cast, featuring the shared liver of the famous conjoined twins. This would represent quite the pickle if they were alcoholics. Last one to end this journey through cryptic display cases. In Frederick, Maryland, there exists the National Museum of Civil War Medicine. The description indicates 3 separate museums and thousands of stories. I was expecting just a handsaw and a spoon to bite down on, but what do I know? Maybe a bottle of whiskey.
A museum for Civil War medicine. Appalling. I wouldn't go in there if my life depended on it. Oh, my God. Come see our acres of bloody bandages. Ugh. All right, let's play a song. This is Be Not Afraid. Okay, let's talk about Home Chef, and I believe you have some cards for us.
Yes, we had actually a beef stir fry today that had broccoli. It had a lovely,
good.
lovely ginger sauce.
Really good, yeah.
Over rice. The rice was actually already cooked in this one, if you're annoyed with how long it takes you to cook rice.
Because who's not?
But really tasty steak in this one. I'm always impressed with their meats. They give you everything you need to make your meal, including step-by-step directions with pictures along the way in case you get lost.
But it's also online in case you lose the cards.
Yes, or on your phone.
Yes.
We selected also a sizzling sesame steak lettuce cups with rice and fresh herbs.
Yeah, you're wrong.
So you're looking for something a little healthier. By the way, they do have all their nutrition facts online prior to picking.
That looks like Crunch City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be yummy. It's kind of like, I'll probably put cheese on this because why not? But yeah, it's gonna be crunch-tastic, like kind of like maybe.
Guilt-free Crunch-tastic. You can't beat it.
Also guilt-free, I have a spicy mahi bento box with pickled carrots and soy mushrooms. So this is going to be an interesting little soup.
It's got like a bunch of sides. Is that what that is? You have rice and then whatever that is. And then these look like fries or something.
So these are your pickled carrots.
Awesome. Pickled carrots. Okay.
Maybe I'll make some potatoes with this as well.
Sounds good.
Anyway, you can pick your meals. Also this week, just experimentally, they have some pre-made stuff. So I got Mark a little breakfast sandwich to try.
We'll see if that's any good. I'm a breakfast sandwich kind of guy.
So, and when you're having to work during the week, it's kind of annoying making your own bacon and eggs.
Sure is.
So anyway, use our link. It will save you off your first order, and you too can get delicious meals shipped to your door. No worried about making out your list, going to the grocery store, all of that hoopla. Everything's there for you, except olive oil and salt and pepper to taste.
Okay, very good. Really good one this week. I could not stop listening to this record. It's great. We're going to talk about Point Blank's album from 1976, self-titled. Now, have you ever known someone who is a gun aficionado? I came across a couple over the years. About 10 years ago, my boss was into them, and he got to this point where he was obsessed with his new Glock. Evidently, according to all the shit he told me that I didn't want to hear, being a good shot with a regular pistol doesn't mean anything when you have a Glock because it's so different and unique in design. I thought he was completely insane, of course, and I had no problem making comments like, yeah, my close friends know that I'm a master of the slingshot, but then they make fun because it doesn't translate to my badminton game. I would just get an odd look and he would leave, which is what I wanted. Even weirder than that, there were a couple of women that I worked with that used to go to their local gun range to pick up guys. Apparently, they both had concealed carries, but they didn't like the whole actual shooting part of the gun range experience, in lieu of sparking a romance with a potential sniper. Again, if you are dumb enough to share something like this with me, you are going to hear about it. I love making comments like, I've been trying to find a soulmate at the axe throwing competitions, but over the last 6 months, I've been striking out. I think I'm going to start visiting death row convicts instead. I know it's a long shot, but I'm a hopeless romantic. They were like, all right, Mark, go away.
It would seem obvious that Southern rock and country music inherently have the most song titles about guns. I'm racking my brain, but I can't think of a new wave song about a Beretta. Warren Zevon had quite a few gun references in his music, but I couldn't rival Southern rock titles like Saturday Night Special or Gimme Back My Bullets.
If you leave a comment of Janie's got a gun, you're getting kicked off.
Perhaps even more over the top was the vernacular of the Texas-based band Point Blank, an oft-forgotten five-piece in remembering the greats of the genre, and as you can see from their self-titled album cover, they aren't the least bit gun-shy. Recorded in Memphis in 1975, Point Blank's debut is one of the most unique-sounding hard rock records of the era. While the liner notes profess that they were produced by Bill Ham, ZZ Top, and Eric Johnson, the arrangements and tones are so different than the other bands in the style, I can't help but think the band put this one together themselves. Drummer Pete Gruen uncorks this busy, blocky, percussive style with lots of weird tom rolls, cowbell outbursts, and double-kick tantrums. Clean ballad-style segments zigzag into full-on storming rock gallops and back again. And every song is packed with gorgeous harmonies from the tandem of Kim Davis and Rusty Burns.
You got to have a guy named Rusty in the band. Free Man, not Free Bird.
I did it later anyway.
Kicks things off with a stinging slide lead, cutting through Gruen's slow shuffle. Somehow made me think of Cactus if John Christ had been the guitarist. So think about that. The song is full of syncopated guitar and vocals, O'Daniel braying and crooning about everything from unfair taxation to imminent incarceration. Such a sad, sad song for such a free man. Lightning strikes around the 2-minute mark when Davis and Burns erupt in the disc's first Lizzie-style harmony, introducing a blistering bluesy workout over a double-time tempo. Eventually the song returns to the slower shuffle, and O'Daniel continues to skewer the boys in blue. Bad Bees is probably the closest to standard 12-bar blues on the album, announcing itself with a burst of fluttering twin melody. This one grooves so damn hard, and O'Donnell's vocals sound glorious sandwiched in that pocket, alternating one shit-hot lead for another. Let's hear a little bit of Free Man.
Can't even take a little ride and see the sights of our big old town. 'Cause the I'm like trying to knock us up, put all those long hair people down. I'm on the move.
distance is interesting in that it doesn't sound like a Southern rock song at all. In fact, the ice-cold arpeggios and O'Donnell's introspective voice working its way in and out of spectacular crescendos. Took me a while to figure out the vibe of this one, but it finally hit me. It's like a precursor to a Maiden classic, Remember Tomorrow, both musically and vocally.
Check it out, people.
Finally, there's the disc's magnum opus, Wandering, a track I simply cannot stop spinning this week, boasting an absolute earworm of a main riff that falls away several times to tragic clean oscillations from Davis and Burns. The song has simply got it all. Spectacular playing, goosebump-inducing vocals, and oddly distinctive tempo changes from the meditative to the barnstorming and back again.
The follow-up, 1977's Second Season, always left me flat for several reasons. Gone are the adventurous zigzagging tempo changes and dramatic wishbone ashen-formed harmonies. The songs are much more in the vein of something like Skinner or ZZ Top. And worst of all, Ham plays around with different sets of vocals. In what universe do you park a singer like O'Daniel on the bench? Imagine someone telling Ian Gillian, sit this one out, mate. We're going to try to give Roger a go at this one. No fucking way, people. Great that we finally got to do an extended look at this obscure, major label, but still obscure gem, and a snapshot in time when Point Blank were capable of musically slaying just about any of their contemporaries. Want more obscure Southern rock? I just might include a playlist of low sideburn, large belt buckle bands with names like Mouse Maze. So thrilling you'll forget your copy of El Loco for a few months. In the meantime, just remember, nobody wants to hear you gushing about your Maverick 88. Let's hear Wandering.
And I need you home by my side, by my
Okay, how interesting to me.
This was our long-awaited interview. Was really interested to get into what goes beyond this music and kind of the transformation as Marina as front woman from their previous album. Had lots of burning, itching questions, and I think we got them all answered.
She busted out her princess sleeves for us. Yes. So take it away.
Super excited about this album. I'll be real happy when it's out all the way, because when I get the PR things, my phone doesn't like them, so I have to do an MP3 player like it's 1990. So
Yeah.
I'm glad just to have it out, because I've really been enjoying it. And it's tough in the car with the MP3 player, but I do it.
Yeah, like I'll hear her as she's in the other room writing a review and she's going, fuck, no, wrong track, fuck. You know, like fighting with the MP3 player, you know.
It's hard.
No.
Because it's not easy to operate. It's hard. And I like to take notes when I'm, doing a review, like as I'm going along. So I need to be able to stop, start. And it's crazy.
Right. Damn Steve Jobs. Yeah. So
anyway, I had to ask about the name Burial Clouds, because it seems like something buried deep in the earth, juxtaposed with something really high in the sky. Did it come how did that combination come together? Because if you Google it, it's just you, which is great.
Oh, that's cool. It actually comes from a Walt Whitman poem.
Oh.
okay.
I don't remember the name of the poem, but when me and Flynn first started the band, we were like, one of my favorite just places, no matter the location, is like a beach at night. There's just it disappears into a void just so quickly, and just that vibe, I just love it. And so I was Googling around, we were like doing the whole band name search thing, and so I was searching up stuff about being on the beach at night, and there's a Walt Whitman poem that talks about that, and one of the lines in there is something burial clouds, and I was like, that's it. So it's like tangentially related to that idea, I guess.
Do you remember any of the rejected names that didn't make it?
those black and red pants with the studs?
Right. So I'm on my way to work, and this big SUV pulls up, and the back window rolls down. The woman in the back says, "I love your pants," which is already weird.
Was she somebody famous?
Probably, I don't know. But anyway, so she goes, "I'll give you $200 for your pants."
So, I mean, she meant right there, right then?
Yep. She waves a two $100 bills out the window. And you got to remember, I was so strapped for cash at this point. I mean, I was eating dollar store ramen every day. So I finally just said, "Oh, hi."
We know you're here for our epic chat with burial clouds, but just a quick aside. We do interviews like this every single week at Snaggletooth, like our amazing discussion with Kaylee Davis and Max Newsom of the UK heavy rock duo, Sky Valley Mistress.
In spacesuits, no less.
Why is Kaylee's nickname Hell Kitten? The full story revealed.
Or our fascinating chat with Kat Fay and Kenny Bofadine of the Swedish alt metal band We Are the Catalyst, one of the most prolific and interesting alt rock bands to emerge in the past few years. At any rate, make sure you subscribe today so you don't miss a single awesome Mark and Stace interview. And now, back to burial clouds. Like any really bad ones?
Like Skank Fragment.
That's a good one. I was thinking the other day, man, I wish somehow skin hunger came up. That's a thing, when people just need human touch. And I was like, damn, that's a good ass band name. It's apparently not taken.
I like that one too.
Another good one we came up with was Sex Injury. We like that one.
Unfortunate.
I think that would be a good one. Yeah. Like
Really?
hardcore
Way
band.
to die.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
R.I.P.
On the Extreme Show, we play a game where he has 5 band names and one of them is made up. So we become an expert at making up band names.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually the one that's fake is the one that everybody likes the most, like Pilsner Wolf. Like everybody really liked that, so yeah.
So what percentage of burial clouds' emotional devastation can be blamed immediately on Portland weather? Like if you moved to Florida, would it change the vibe?
God. I mean, yeah, I've moved away from Portland because of the weather before. And every winter I do consider moving again.
Yeah.
I think this band is one of the only things keeping me here for the most part. I don't know, would our vibe change? Like if we were like in LA or something? I'm sure it would, right? You just absorb your surroundings, you reflect your environment, I guess. But I mean, there is, like it's a pretty doomy scene here, so I guess maybe that's why, right? Maybe that's part of it.
We had a trip. He had a business trip, so I went with him to. We went to Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene and Seattle.
And oh my God, it was some of the cold is so wet. And I had this coat and we were outside and he was counting inventory and the poor guy who owned the plant brought me his big coat because I was like literally turning blue. My hair was blue at the time, so.
But we did notice that like the people in Oregon seemed less suicidal than the people in Seattle. Like the people in Seattle, like the lady at the counter for the rental car was like the frozen antidepressant smile where it's like, I haven't thought of killing myself at all this week, But when,
Every
when we got to
degree
Oregon,
south.
yeah,
Every degree south makes you a little happier, I guess.
exactly. Yeah, the people in Oregon had a much better vibe. Yeah.
But I love the burgers and IPAs out there, so you got that much going.
Well, and the
for
coffee
you.
too.
Well,
Great
coffee.
coffee. Yeah.
It's true. It is
I think
true.
longitude or latitude wise, you're lined up with Norway, so I think that might be part of it. You have the same climate as Scandinavia in some ways, So
Sister Jean.
A metal parallel, I guess.
that's what it is. I think so. Yeah. That's why all the good extreme stuff comes from the Pacific Northwest. Yeah.
At least you're not in that like the part of the world where it stays dark like for 6 months a year. That would make me insane.
That's why there's no like good death metal from like Hawaii because it's too happy there. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have anything to complain about here except for the high price of food. So
Yeah, I have a friend that lives in Hawaii, and like unsurprisingly, it's all like pop punk and ska.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. Because nobody's got anything to complain about when it's 80 degrees and sunny every day, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
So after you guys had that great critical response to Last Days of a Dying World, you had that UK tour. You went through some lineup changes. Of course, you guys are the mainstay, Matt and Flynn. But at that point, did you have a clear vision of where you wanted the music to go next, or did Burn Holy really take shape organically as the new lineup came together and everybody kind of brought their own energy?
Oh man, it was like an iterative process. I think of the songs that are on there, only one was written before all the lineup changes. I mean, we have a few that like just didn't make it onto anything, but like kind of the way, I mean, yeah, it's the way we do things is like kind of I'll start out with the skeleton of a song, and then everyone adds, like their idea of how it should go. Maybe like have the composition, but I mean, like, yeah, like when Marina came along, like she's like all of the, not all, but I guess most of the vibe of the music like comes from the way the vocals shape it. We're kind of just laying the landscape, but that's the human connection. And I mean, so the songs come out one way for me, consistent number, but like, of course, it changes radically once everyone else gets their hands on it. I mean,
Are you more like a democracy or a dictatorship?
well, I do not like. We are definitely a democracy, but I think sometimes, like, I feel like sometimes folks are just like, dude, I don't want to fucking make decisions. Like, I don't know. How should it go? Whatever. Like,
I get that. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, you do your thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's more common than you'd think. A lot of bands say that. Yeah. Like, does anybody have a better idea? Anyone?
yeah.
So, Marina, you first appeared in the Beirut Shores video. Kind of tell the story of how it went from that to you guys going, she's got to be in this band.
Right. The front woman.
I actually auditioned for the band back in the day and didn't get it. I was not upset though. I was super flattered to be considered and super happy with their choice with Michael for the vocalist for the last album. And we remained friends and I enjoyed the music a lot. And I also have a background in dance choreography and performance. And so, yeah, I think that they were making a music video and they just thought of me. And it was a really fun experience, like collaborating. It went well. I think everybody vibed, artistic vision vibed pretty well. And yeah, I think it just kind of came back around to be better timing later. But maybe Matt has another perspective on that.
No, that's exactly it. Like, it was just like when we first heard your vocals, it was like pretty instantly obvious that like you had something like great going on. And then once we did the video, it was just like that, like you were saying, just like there was this creative vibe, and I was like, damn, we're like have a very similar vision for like what a good idea means, And so when it came time to find a different vocalist, it was like that was the only thought really. It was like, dude, let's hit up Marina. Like there was no other like second on the list. Like, I don't know. I actually don't know what we would have done if she couldn't or didn't want to or anything, because we were just like, we just dove off the cliff.
First round draft pick.
Yep.
That was interesting. We did they had reached out to me to just do a show, kind of like a guest feature. and just to try that out. So I was really down for that. I was a little bored that week, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so I didn't actually realize you guys were looking for a new vocalist. I feel like that was kind of like a trial run, but it worked out though.
Was low key. Yeah.
I love how low key has become the new word for secretly.
Yeah.
It never used to be used that way.
Secret is just like, I don't know. I guess it was like kind of a trial run, but it was also like, I don't know. Are you gonna have fun doing this? It's just like, are we imagining how well this would work, or is it actually? And it actually was what we thought. So there you go.
Yeah, I love how you can flip a switch too. You remind me of Piper from Roman Candle, the way you can, have this beautiful songbird vocal and then flip into banshee mode. Do you have to think of an emotion, or does it just kind of go there for you?
I mean, there was a lot of thought initially when writing, and I have had to do a little work on my skill set to be able to really execute live what I thought of in my head. And that's been really rewarding. So at this point, I don't think about it. And I can just pull it out of me. But I've always been a screamer, I think, from a young age. My older sister will tell you. When she listened to the album, she was like, it just reminds me of childhood. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of bold choices, but everyone in the band supported it. So yeah, it's fun to scare people. I think one of my goals is like the bunny rabbit in Monty Python, like oh, so cute.
The
And
Holy
then,
Grail, right?
yeah, like that's how I want to come across. And so I think it's working from the feedback. It's starting to come across that way.
That's really interesting comparison. Yeah.
Album, because most of the time, we just hear Marina's vocals with the music, but when we're tracking and it's just Marina in a room screaming, you take the headphones off, and me and Bryce were like, damn, dude, this is we've heard it 1,000 times and it's metal vocals and whatever, but it's it's legit a little scary. It's freakish in the room. Banshee is definitely a word we used.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
I had a question for Marina. I wanted to ask you, what are some, from a vocal standpoint, what are some songs that you've heard where you've been like, that's what I want to do? That's amazing,
There's so many. So that's such a hard question. I know there was I was listening to the band Dreadnought a lot when we were writing the album early on. And I think I listened to this song, the Liminal Veil song, over and over again. And I don't know what it was, something about the layering of vocals, and her ability to have such beautiful ethereal vocals and also just a earth-shattering scream. I was really inspired by that. So that's definitely something I was taking with me early on, someone I was looking up to. But there's really such a long list. Every day I see a new video where I'm like, that's who I want to be now.
Yeah.
Live. Oh my God.
Yeah. In the early 90s, I was really into The Gathering, the Dutch band, The Gathering. And I had to kind of back off it because I started writing live reviews and they were getting kind of creepy. I was like, how yummy does a neck look in that half shirt? I'm like, dude, come on.
Oh.
You need to, let's back it off there, big guy, So.
And you're going to get a cease and desist or
I was like, yeah, you're crossing a line here. Come on,
So I love all the band photos, and you never look like you're outnumbered. You're always
in command
out front. Are there different roles within the band, kind of leader, peacemaker, jokester, person who stirs the pot?
I think so. Tim is definitely the jokester. Man, all of our families could have died in a plane crash simultaneously, and like Tim is like coming with a joke about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think Flynn is the diplomat. He's like, I don't know, which I guess is like makes sense for a bass player because they're kind of the lace that ties holds the shoe together, and that's I think his role. I don't know, Marina's always got the snacks, man. Like when we went on that, when we went and did that photo shoot that you guys are talking about, I think probably.
That's how you got the gig, Marina. It wasn't your voice, it was the snacks.
It was the snacks. She's got good snacks, man.
She's got combos in her pocket. Let's get her in the band.
That's just what keeps me calm. Once the snacks run out, like I think I am the instigator. That I just do keeping the snacks to make sure everybody's getting along.
Oh, that's great. The snacks keep the band together. I love it.
Do you cook or you bring snacks that are packaged?
Well, I don't cook for the band that much. I'm actually living in Seattle right now, so we've got a little bit of a distance. But I mostly just bring snacks, but I would cook for them if they were here. Maybe when the tour starts, got to do it.
Yeah, we gotta have like family meal up at when we go to Tacoma.
That sounds great. Yeah.
So love the album cover art. It almost kind of feels like a Rorschach blot test, depending on your mindset. It could be-
Rorschach.
Oh, Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like it looks like it could be a portal, an eclipse, an eye, a wound, a burning hole. Did you kind of want it like that, where people kind of project what they think it's about on it, or does it have a meaning for you?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I think with the music and the cover, like I love the Rorschach test, like what we can have our own meanings for it, what we intended, but I think like there is no right answer. Whatever the person, observing, listening takes away from it that is what it is, I don't get to say. But for me, so I did the front and back cover, and what turned out to be the front cover was originally the back. But when I shared it with the band, it seemed like everyone was like, "No, that's the front cover." And I do have I know what that is. It is very abstract. I know what it is, but I think I'm just going to not say because
Okay.
that leaves it as a Rorschach thing. So yeah.
I love the color in it too, because a lot of bands in this genre, stick with black and white, but I love that it's kind of on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was originally the front is a lot more black and white. And yeah.
How did you come to choose it? Was it like an Instagram artist or something? Or? Oh, he did it. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Okay.
In my basement.
Gotcha.
Not something I do super often, but I would like to do it more, and this was a good.
Yeah, it's a good do it yourself too. You didn't have to pay yourself, so that saves a little right there.
No one's paying me, so
Yeah.
not unexpected.
So I love the term "burn holy." It kind of seems transcendent and terrifying. It seems like it could be about an obsession or something spiritual, or maybe something unspiritual.
I think that's a Marina question. It came from her lyrics. I like how it kind of, like you're saying, comes from, you can interpret it a lot of ways.
Yeah, we had taken a lot of different like excerpts from the lyrics when we were trying to choose, because we didn't choose the album title till towards the end of the process. And so I had a huge list of little bits of lyrics, and we liked this one. And interestingly, the first song I had written lyrics for, these are like within the first 3 words. It's like burn, Ashen Altar was the first song, and it was burn, burn, holy. And so really the album was like the first few words that were like written in the lyrics. So that's just kind of fun, but it It definitely is spiritual. It definitely is a little scary. It's not the full sentence. I think like the full sentence is burn wholly with the land. And so I don't want to say too much, I guess, just to let people intrigue people to listen to it and kind of find their own meaning in it. But yeah, it ended up working really well for the theme of the album.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. I like that you guys are respectful that people can interpret it, the way that they want. I remember in this interview with Buzzo from the Melvins once where the reviewer had this theory about the lyrics to a song, and he goes, "Dude, it's about my cat. Come on." Like completely shot it down. And I was like, "Oh, that's no fun."
Yeah, he wrote something way greater than he meant. And now he just tore down his own castle.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. So this guy thought it was about like the rings of Saturn or something. He's like, "Dude, come on. It's about my cat."
Cats can inspire, I suppose.
That's right.
Yeah,
We have 5. So yeah.
like cats are deities, maybe it was deeper than he ever knew.
It's true. Yeah. Yeah.
It was just channeling.
Yeah, sometimes we didn't set out to have 5 cats. It just kind of happened that way. But the last 2, we were going to adopt one. And the woman was like, no, you have to take both sisters. And they want nothing to do with each other. So why she said that is beyond me, but we love them both.
Bonded, like, no, you can't separate them. Like, they just...
I think it was her thing, not their thing. Because, like, if we actually see them in the same room together, it's like a photo event. It's like, oh my God, look, they're together. Because they're like, I didn't know you were going to be here. I didn't know you were going to be.
Snuggle, like even if they're on the same piece of furniture, one's over here and one's over there.
They don't like each other at all. So anyway, whatever. Yeah. It was a package deal. So,
So I love that you mentioned about the songs going through 10 or 12 versions before they were finally finished. Was there a specific moment when something clicked and you could just kind of audibly hear it was finished?
No, God, I forget who said it. This quote from some, I don't know, guy, that no creative work is ever finished, it's just abandoned. And I think we try to okay, so you come with this idea of what a song's going to be, or maybe you start with a riff and then you build on it and now this one needs to go here and let's put something between those two and maybe this could build to something else. But ultimately, you have to listen to what the song wants to be. If you try too hard to make it what you think it needs to be, you're going to fuck it up. And so it's just a matter of rearranging until it seems right, and maybe you take one step too far and you have to undo it. And I guess it's just the biggest thing is taking your, I don't know how to say it, your own ego or your own projection out of it and just listening back to it as objectively as you can, and being willing to let go of this super sick riff that's gonna be perfect and then it just doesn't work, and if you force it, maybe it'll ruin the song and it's just not meant to be, and maybe it'll work something else, or maybe that's just one you play in your room. But so that's, I think I felt easily 10 versions of just the instrumental, and then I think even down to the wire, I think it was at the intro maybe, and the outro, Marina was just improvising and just let's see what happens, in the dark, turn out the lights and just fully channel it. And so who knows how many more iterations that or any of the other songs could have gone through, but I think you just kind of, at a certain point, you just got to move on and just let it be what it is once it feels right enough, I guess,
Was there a particular track that gave you a lot of trouble that you can remember that was like the last one to really fall into place the way you wanted it to?
I feel like they're all like that for me. I don't know, Marina, what was your?
I still feel like Eyes Without Light, like that was the last song we wrote with the whole band. And I think my personal experience is that my skill set's been growing through the process of the other songs. And like the expectations were getting higher as it was going on too, and like our ideas were getting more complicated. And we were just like the song was getting longer and we're running out of time. So yeah, that was like the last song with everybody, and I think we're still learning it. Like I think I'm still like, I don't know. I agree with you that nothing's ever done. Like I feel a bit frustrated with my own, past work. Like I'm already like I could rework this. Like it's not done yet. But you got to let it go. You just have to let it go.
I hate that when I'm writing a review and I think up that closing line I could have done at the end, like 3 days later. I'm like, damn it.
I know.
Yeah. So you guys are kind of like us. You're aggressively DIY. You do your own writing, engineering, recording, artwork, etc. What part is there a part of that that ever feels overwhelming to you?
Yeah, because we aside from drums on the previous album, we did that one all ourselves as well, and mastering, of course. We also did through Brad Boatwright at Audio Siege. But after that last one, it was like having a baby. It was like, I am never fucking doing that again. This next album, we got to save up and go into a studio. We had at one point talked about maybe trying to get into God City, and then we were just like, I don't know. I forgot the pain, and I'm so glad though. I am, just like with the last one. I'm glad because we have so much control over absolutely everything. There's no worry about budget. We were worried about time. Just didn't want it to come out in 2028, but. And we wanted to get just with Marina. We wanted to, because it's just this whole new life. I mean, not we love Michael. He's great. He's still a good friend, but it was just this entirely new direction, and we were all so excited about it. We wanted to get stuff with Marina and Bryce and Tim out there as soon as possible. So there's a bit of a rush with that too. But being able to just sit there and for 3 hours dork out on the shape of the convolution reverb or how much limiting is on the vocal, just stuff like that is great. But it is all overwhelming. And we're in the middle of doing merch right now, which Marina did pretty much all of the art for, which you guys will probably see pretty soon. Tim's screen printing it right now, literally right now. He's totally overwhelmed. He's losing his mind. I saw him last night and he was like, sorry, dude, I can't talk. But yeah, so DIY stuff, if you have reasonably high standards, not that that's better or worse, but that it's always overwhelming in a way because it's your own, so you want it to be as good as possible. If you're working for someone else, you shit on company time, but
right,
you die for it. So
yeah, I'll read bios of these bands from the the 80s and 90s and how much compromise they had to do because of what the label wanted or what the promoter wanted or what and it's just we're so we'll take the DIY route every single time rather than have someone tell us what we have to do.
Totally, that's it. Freedom.
How would you feel if somebody came in and said, no, this has to be this way, or
I want 3 covers on the next album, something like that, that's not going to work, so.
Yeah.
The 3 worst covers they've ever heard.
Yeah.
What are the worst covers you've ever heard? What are the worst covers? Let's hear it.
We played When I Come Around at practice last time. That was pretty stupid. I don't know. I don't know. That's hard to answer. Is that
How about you,
cover
Marina? That's a really bad
I'm
cover.
like, I don't want any smoke here.
Yeah.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
I remember in the 90s, I was working at a warehouse, and every time Guns N' Roses had a cover, whether it was like Sympathy for the Devil or Live and Let Die, I was like, are they trying to sound like shit? I mean, are they trying to alienate their fans? Like, I thought they were horrible. Like, I still don't like, I was like, this band is so much better than this. Why does this sound so bad? So I've never understood it. But I have this long running theory that Guns N' Roses hates their fans. I won't get into it, but it'll come out of my novel when I write it,
Next
along
episode.
with other conspiracy theories,
There was this death metal band called Hooded Menace, and it was a shame because I really loved the rest of the album.
Yeah.
They did a cover of Duran Duran's Save It for the Morning After. And in those growly vocals, when they got to the part, I'm like, oh my God, is he going to say, but I asked you to dance and you wanted to dance and all that. And he did. And I was like, oh.
It was horrible. It did not translate.
I just left that out of the review. I didn't even.
It's like trying to do like a death metal Steely Dan cover or something. It's not a good idea, Yeah.
What about a death metal Britney Spears cover? Because I'm trying to make that happen.
There's a guy in England, and he goes by Spider God, and when he first started out, he does all concept albums, but he did nothing but like death metal covers. He does Sabrina Carpenter's XOXO. It's that one I like, actually.
Yeah,
Matt, sounds sick.
I think he kind of typecast himself though, because like now everyone knows him as the guy who does like Britney Spears covers death metal, and he's trying to establish his actual music, but everyone just likes the cover. So you have to be careful with that stuff. It's like there's like a band. Similarly, there's a band from England called Zentrix. They're a thrash band, and their big breakout hit was they covered Ghostbusters. And now they're like in their 70s and they're still having to fucking play Ghostbusters. And you can tell that they don't want to do it anymore,
Worst blessing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
You got a
These
career.
decisions that you make when you're 23 ripple through the rest of your life, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, would you take that? Like, you got to play Ghostbusters for the rest of your life, but like get a little money? Like, I don't know. Really,
I remember. I keep going back to Motorhead, but I remember like we didn't like their albums in the 90s, and I remember talking to my friends and being like, "Do we want to hear bassoons and sitars on a Motorhead record, or do we just want to hear Ace of Spades over and over again?" And like we never answered the question. We were just like, "I don't know." Like, could go either way.
I mean, I've never listened to Motorhead without listening to Ace of Spades.
Right? Yeah. So yeah. It's like, they could have just kind of stopped there. That would have been okay, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, considering how emotionally intense this record is, were there moments when you were recording that somebody thought of something funny or lost it and kind of broke the mood?
Oh man, I mean, yeah, I think we like when it's time to work, we work. But I mean, the mood's we always have like practice. Like if it's a 2-hour practice, it's a 4-hour practice because we spend half the time just bullshitting and that's how recording was too. Like, we work when it's time to work. I think it's always like some degree of levity in there.
Yeah, you need that.
I loved the picture of the slime mold growing outside. Who found that?
Oh, that was right outside Audio Siege. It's crazy. It's like, I mean, maybe you can't. It doesn't even fit in the frame. That thing is 2 feet across, maybe a foot tall. It's weird too. It like feels this slip. It's like a piece of hard rubber with Vaseline on it. It's the weirdest thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And what's in that picture was not even all of it. Like it had a couple babies like coming up off the side, to away. Yeah, massive.
Like some alien or something,
Yeah, glad someone finally noticed the slime mold. It's been growing for like 2 years. Yeah.
Another product of the environment here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I would have been worried about an Invaders of the Body Snatcher
That's
situation.
right.
I'm going to check on it again. Did it move?
When it rains every single day, right? Yeah. So.
I want to know what it tastes like. I thought about it, but I didn't.
So I love, Burial Clouds isn't really built around flashy guitar hero soloing. The guitars feel more focused on atmosphere, emotional weight, that massive texture. What kind of guitars and mic setups work best for achieving that wall of distortion? Like cheese. There's too much fuzz on that, said no one ever. Said it's like cheese.
I'm just easy classic SM57. God, I don't even remember what amp Bryce played through. So we double tracked both of the guitars, and one of each of those two tracks was just like a amp sim. Bryce's was a Fireball, I forget, Engel Fireball, and mine is an orange OR80.
Ooh.
But I think the real amp that he played through was oh man, I don't even remember. I honestly don't remember what, because he's had several. Like he's got a really cool Science Mother right now, but he's gone through like 3 amps since then. I don't remember which one it was. And then my real world amp that is on there is a Sovtek Bassov. It's originally a bass amp. It's model it's basically a bass version of the MiG 100, but it's modified by a dude in town named Brooks Blackhawk, and he has a Blackhawk amplifiers and effects company. So he modified that to just be this brutal monster. But yeah, SM57s when it's not just an amp sim digital, which maybe people hate that, but fuck you. Too bad. Yeah, really, like, I feel like a lot of the size with the guitars comes from reverb. Like, it's a whole lot of short reverb. Gives it a ton of texture. If you allow enough of the high end through, and yeah, a lot of reverb.
I love that one. It's like, I'm not sure if that's a guitar or a circular saw, but I love it.
Yeah, totally. That's Bryce for sure. Mine's thicker and cloudier, and his is just like a serrated knife. It's great.
Yeah. I remember reading articles about what Rick Rubin did with Rain and Blood, and he removed all the reverb. And I was like, I like reverb. It's like garlic. I like it. Like,
nice.
I'm not saying that I don't like Rain and Blood, but did you have to get rid of all of it? I mean, I really kind of like reverb. I mean,
it is like a artistic decision, I suppose, and it gives it a whole different sound. But there's a ton of reverb of all different sorts and lengths and sizes and everything on this record, because if you're actually in the room, there's reverb no matter what room you're in, and that's what makes it sound like it's alive and actually present and actually physically existing in a place, as opposed to just somehow captured sound that never existed.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of reverb. And also, going back to the amplifier thing, just side note, the bass is, at least just by the numbers, is the loudest mixed instrument on the whole album the entire time, and Flynn's bass sound is really where a lot of that comes from. And that was all DI, just straight direct bass. But yeah, he plays through a dark glass Omega, and Flynn's bass sound, not only because he's the best bass player I've ever played with or met, but his sound is kind of what shapes our tone, actually, honestly, more than the guitars.
Yeah, I'm always a bass heavy girl, and I could really pick up on the fact that he can walk the dog with that thing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a genius. Man, some of the stuff he does, like at practice, he just improvise. He'll just make up stuff, and it's like, dude, that's one of the coolest riffs I've ever heard. And like, play that again. Well, like, let me get out my phone and record it, and he just like shits out diamonds. It's crazy.
I know we had a few track-specific questions. I love burning the olive tree. I mean, most people are reaching for an olive branch, and you guys are burning the entire tree. Is that track about rejecting peace or just admitting it's not possible?
That's actually a reference, and the lyrics will reflect it. That's a reference to burning the olive groves in Palestine. Frequently, they will, as part of the colonial terrorism, basically, they will burn their olive groves to chase them out. And you're right to pick up on the lack of peace symbolism, because they're not offering olive branches, they're burning olive orchards. So that's what that's in reference to.
I love that whole idea. So for Screaming, Drowning, Pacified, I love it starts with you absolutely temper tantrum shrieking. And that the bass is the very diabolical on that one. Plus you get those radio saw guitars. Do you use any pedals at any time to kind of achieve the sound that you want to, or is it all tuning?
Well, on that song, honestly, there are, I think, no effects besides distortion, but we do have, we use a Digitech drop in that song, so it's technically an effect, but it's a tuning effect. So we drop it down a whole step in the slow riff at the end. But that's it. That song's pretty raw. And yeah, like, dude, the vocals, I think, make that song. Like, I mean, I guess that song, especially, like, I don't know, about a third of the way through, like, that just, I was like, I remember when we were tracking it, I was like, dude, just scream like you're, like, going down a roller coaster. and that was
Who had the idea to kind of layer who did the male growly vocals and then you kind of float over top? It's so horripilating.
I think that was you, Marina.
Is that in this song? I don't even know. I was like, does Bryce? I'm trying to remember the song. Sorry. I'm like, does Bryce do the vocals? Because a lot of the album, he has such monstrous, like, low vocal growls. But I can't think of and Screaming, Drowning, Pacified right now.
I think maybe he has like one or two lines, not much in that song.
It might have been me, but there was a lot of layering of our vocals like that in Eyes About Lie and Be Not Afraid. Definitely layer Bryce and I's vocals, like float more clean singing on top of his growls. And I think, again, that Liminal Veil song by Dreadnought, like, inspired a lot of my want to combine, like, clean and heavy vocals and layers. But yeah, I came to Screaming, Drowning, Pacified wanting to do like choking, vomiting noises. I was like, would it be weird if I, like, actually drown a little bit in the background? Like, how visceral can we make this? And we didn't go that far because I didn't really know how to make a lot of those sounds I wanted, but not yet, at least. But there is some gasping and, like, some interesting vocal shrieking that song brought out, more chaotic sounds than the other songs.
Yeah, I love just getting experimental like that. Like, yeah, I think, like, maybe some people might be like, oh yeah, haha, that'd be really funny if you, like, were choking, but, like, no, like, it actually sounds cool, and it's, like, in time, and so I think some of it goes, like, slightly unnoticed just because it's so in time and it kind of blends in, but, like, I love that kind of shit. Just like, yeah, it's just experiments. It sounds good, and if it does, go with it.
So for the pacified part, is that kind of the purge once it's over? Because there's definitely no peace in that song.
I think, from my interpretation, it's No, it's more the attempt to pacify people, whether it be like the working class or the masses. Like it's more that they're attempting to pacify, and you are in the process of like screaming, drowning. But I don't know if the pacification is really like successful. It's not in the song, at least. It's kind of breaking out of that attempt.
Sounds like my work day every day. I work for a doctor and all our patients are crazy, so
It's true. Yes. Sad but true.
I just
Don't play them this album.
no, I just keep it on my earbuds while I'm not listening to it.
Marina, I have to say, I like your princess sleeves. It reminds me, I bought Stace several of those, and she wasn't wearing them. And I was like, "You're not wearing the blouses I got you?" And she's like, "I can't do housework with these. Like, I can't
Can't cook.
because you can't cook, you can't like scrub, you can't do anything because the sleeves get into everything." So
It's
no,
Yeah.
it's
Just when you start
impractical
bragging. It's a statement, though. You know, you gotta for stage. It's really good as
for
long
stage.
as I'm,
Yeah,
you know, doing string instruments, I guess.
you're not scrubbing the sink on stage though. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
for the drama, you know.
that's right. Yeah.
So I also did love Forget Me Not. It's a real shift in texture with those softer vocals, no drums, acoustic guitar. Was that kind of designed as a stripped back or unplugged moment or just like a palate cleanser?
We added it very last minute. Like we were writing it as we were recording it, as we're sending it off to be mastered, kind of all the same week. And I don't know. I think we wanted to do an acoustic song, but it wasn't our priority. So it was just kind of a star in our eye. And it came together last minute. I was excited because I think I wanted to give my mom one song that she could listen to.
Oh,
And
that's so sweet.
so for my family, I was like, yeah, we got to give you guys one little one reward for listening to the album. But yeah, I think my background's more, you know, folk music, a lot more stripped back. And so it was fun for me to do a piece of that. And I think also the band in general, like everybody has so many influences. And I think we're constantly kind of pushing the envelope of genres. And so I think we were all just excited to like keep pushing the envelope a little bit more. We're like, let's surprise everybody. And it also kind of brings the album back down too, because there is a lot of really emotional like subject matter. And so it felt like a necessary part of that processing.
It still felt very emotional to me. It felt like it was like pulling at your heartstrings somehow, even though it's not a punch in your face, it still, you know, gets in you. So that was a great touch.
Love the album.
So I also love the video for Be Not Afraid. That is just a series of disturbing imagery that suggests quite the opposite. Did you have a director come up with all these things, or does someone in the band actually eat frogs? And were you in all those crazy dresses? And how much were you wet?
Yeah, we really like the ideas for that video kind of came from everyone in the band. I think it. So I mean, we carried the character over from the video that Marina was in before she was in the band. Some of it, or at least some of the same costumes in my mind. At least it's like a same or similar character. But like that video started out with Tim. He had seen Incubus with William Shatner. It's the only film ever made in Esperanto, apparently. And it's actually pretty good. And he was like, yeah, what if we use that as sort of like the seed? And we kind of just, you know, like brainstormed it from there. And a lot of the like creative direction was Marina. Sort of like guided things. Like there's an altar in there that she made. A lot of the ideas for that video, like specifics, were hers, and then we kind of like as we were shooting, like, oh, let's try it from this angle, or whatever. But our friend Double J was the one who shot it and edited it, and then the other woman who did video as well, her name's Nicole Clementson, great photographer, and so they sort of like threw their own ideas in there too, but I think Marina did get pretty soaked a few times.
I
I
especially
did too, to be fair. Matt got into the ocean for that video as well.
That sucked. And when they say like when you go into icy water and it like takes your breath away, like that's like so like literally true. I like could not breathe a few times. It was intense.
You had the idea of the people kind of who are literally they're roped to rocks and they have to pull the rocks. It's kind of reminded me of like a version of hell, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of the sentiment there. There is a little bit of like emotional weight, just like at the
Literally.
goal of being tethered to this rock. And again, without getting too specific on what that means, because it's going to mean something different for everybody. But yeah, just the heaviness, and the feeling trapped, and then the journey of dragging that around. The contrast, I guess, maybe liberation, or freedom. Healing would be the opposite of that. So, yeah, a lot of these imagery is supposed to evoke some like emotional experience or relatability, maybe even if just a glimpse of it.
So Marina, like I'm picturing like you in high school, and you look like this perfectly sweet girl, but you're writing on your books, "Perish in flames, die in hell." Is that you? I mean,
Yes and no. I think I'm complicated. I don't know. I think I've always been a very artsy person. Like from a young age, I've always been deeply emotional. I've always been very artistic, across many different forms of art. And
mhm.
so I definitely think I always gave off, weird, sweet art girl. And it's taken me a long time to come out into the public with some of my like some darker themes, or even with using my voice publicly. It's kind of taken me a long time to get to this point of just
Mhm.
putting up the courage, and kind of letting go of some of my upbringing or like social pressures to be like a perfectly well-behaved woman. And so, this process has been really freeing because I've had the screams in me all along, and
Yeah.
I haven't like been brave enough to be who I feel like this other part of me is outwardly. So yeah, it was always there, but I think I've been suppressing it. I've been suppressing it to my best ability for as long as I could. And it's
I
just,
can relate. I can relate. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's fermenting. It's ripe now. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
but you can't put it back in the box, It's
That's
open
right.
now.
Genie won't go back in the bottle. Nope.
Yeah, we used to always say that like if remember like the X-Men when they would go out and recruit the people, like in the movies. Like I always thought that if they came to my parents would say, "Well, we would like him to focus on his accounting skills." You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can relate. Totally. Yeah. So,
But I think it means more sometimes when you create like in spite. I think about like whatever, nepotism, like babies or whatever that term is that people use now. And I have nothing against if I would be doing art if I had rich parents connected in the art world. I'd still be doing art, more power
right.
to you. But there's something to be said about like carving out your way in spite of everyone not wanting you to do that, and having everything up against you kind of makes you appreciate it a little bit more,
Yeah.
the world that you create for yourself.
One thing that I'm eternally grateful for is that I'm not the son of someone really famous. Because, like, if you're James Hetfield's son, if you're Mick Jagger's son, that's what you're going to be. You know what I mean? Like, separating yourself from that is impossible, you know.
Yeah, then accounting is your rebellion, and that sucks.
Yeah.
That's right. Stick with your accounting skills, young man.
Although it's a great story, Maya Hawke in Stranger Things is Ethan Hawke's daughter, but they're far enough apart in their careers. Somebody walked up to them, they were out in public, and he was like, no, I'm not taking autographs today. And they're like, I don't know who you are, sir, but I want to talk to Maya.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, this old guy.
Maya Hawke's dad.
Yep.
Go the other way too. Oh, and I love, where did you get that crazy red dress? Your movements were very unnerving, very Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Matt got that for the last video. I don't know where he got it from. We saved it though.
Yeah, it's just some cheap thing from Amazon. Yeah, it was just like because we knew it would be in a video, so it's like I'm not at least like gonna spend a bunch of money on like something that's potentially disposable, for used for 2 days or whatever, and so it just fit the vibe, and it was like $50. It worked.
I think one of my favorite moments is Ashen Altar. It might be one of the most feral, and it's that great combination of feral and atmospheric moments. And you can even catch flashes of tremolo, kind of black metal running through there. Is there any stylistic thing that you would not do for the band, like your anti-saxophone or something?
Personally, I am actually anti-saxophone. Unless you're Colin Stetson, but that's like only technically a saxophone. What is it, like baritone sax or whatever? So cool. Honestly, like just personally, like if it sounds good, it is good. That's it. It's the only rule. Like maybe it'd be really hard to make ska sound good, or
Yeah.
Flynn was telling me about some like doom reggae he heard the other day. I think it's totally blanking on his name. Fucking Al from Sleep. Anyway, I guess he's got some. I haven't heard it. He's got like some doomy reggae thing Flynn was telling me about. So it's like, I mean, if he can make it, I don't know. There's so on this album. There's so many like non-heavy influences.
Piano.
Yeah.
Tons of piano. There's like the first like clean break in Burning the Olive Tree is like Latin rhythms and sort of like a Balkan thing, like 9/8 like circular triplet rhythm that's like very not metal, like you just play with stuff and put it through your own filter. I don't think there's anything that's off limits. I mean, Marina's choking, so like, well, we'll do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Should we
The
do our
list of things we won't do is much shorter than the list of things we would do, I think.
Definitely.
All right. Well, we play a game on this show too, but it's not the blaspheming monikers one. I have a list of 100 questions in front of me. So since there's two of you, I want each of you to pick 3 numbers between 1 and 100 that will correspond to random questions.
I'm going to go 27, 42, 87.
Wow, I fired those off. I was expected hike at the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and Marina.
Yeah. I'm going to choose 9, 33, and for the kids, I'll choose 6, 7.
Nice to think of the kids once in a while. That's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Nobody's thinking about
9
that.
has officially been left behind. R.I.P.
All right, Matt, you picked 27. What's the silliest fear you still have as an adult?
Fear. I don't know. I don't. Okay, so I don't mind bugs at all if I am like intentionally picking them up. But if they decide to be on me, even though I'm like in my brain, I'm like, I do not mind this. My body is still like, no, you go away. Like my girlfriend got me this like tennis racket fly zapper, and I zapped the shit out of one of those fuckers because there's a bunch in my room for no apparent reason. And it was totally dead and fried, and I like shook it off the zapper, and it like launched at me, and it was dead, it was fried, and I totally was like, and dodged it and got it. Yeah, so I don't know, I guess bugs that I didn't decide to be on me. I don't know.
He had a cicada that attached itself to him and he didn't know it was there. And he went into like one of our smaller bathrooms and the thing decided to take flight, and they are so loud. I heard him go, ah!
Yeah, it was like a helicopter. Yeah.
Yeah, there's bass in their wings. It's scary.
Yeah. I would have to say my fear is the lottery. Like that machine at the gas station, that might as well be a time machine, because I don't understand the lingo, the triple this, triple that. Like, it's a whole nother language.
The TV?
There's got to be easier ways to throw your money in the trash can than that. I mean, I'm scared to death of it. So, I just don't look. I just pay for my gas.
I always think of the Hurley lost thing too, and that it's really cursed if you win.
Yeah. Those people are speaking a whole nother language. So it makes me really uncomfortable. Yeah.
All right. And you picked 42. If you could have one chore done for you, what would it be? I would have someone scoop the cat litter box. Just saying.
Because we have 5 cats. Right.
I think that's easy. Dishes. Because I like to cook, but like half the time I want to cook just so I don't have to do the dishes, because it's always the one who cooks doesn't have to do them. So like, I don't know. I hate dishes, man.
Interestingly, who we interviewed? We interviewed a famous person on the show that loves to do dishes. You know who it was?
I have no idea. Who's this insane person?
Gene Hoglan. Gene Hoglan loves to do dishes. Yeah, we asked him the same question. Yeah. So in addition to being a kick-ass drummer, he's quite the dish doer. Yeah. Fun fact.
We'll have to get him to come do your dishes.
He was so excited about it. He went on about doing dishes for like 20 minutes. Yeah. So. Anyway.
It takes all kinds, I guess.
Yeah, exactly right.
And you picked 8-7. Is there a small achievement that you're secretly proud of but never really told anyone about?
That's a good question.
I won first place in our little like second grade science fair and I still to this day, like, yeah, it's just kids, like you can't have too high standards, but like I still to this day think it was like kind of dumb and it didn't deserve to win, but I won first place. It was I took like the little potato bugs and I wanted to see if they would run faster in the sun or the shade. Like, do they actually care about the temperature, and do they want to get out of the heat? And they did. They ran faster in the sun. And I want a blue ribbon for that. Thank you very much.
That's great. Good for you.
That's a Nobel Peace Prize stuff.
Sure is. I had to do an insect, where you pin the insects to the, and they said, the way that you kill them is you put them in a jar with alcohol. We didn't have any alcohol the night before, so I thought I'd use my mom's nail polish. So literally, when I turned it in, they were all crucified, writhing on the board.
Wow.
I was terrible at it. I was just sorry. Here's a sheet of tortured insects.
Yeah.
That was terrible. They're not supposed to still be moving. What the fuck,
Man, life is suffering, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh, this is going to be a good question for Marina.
Okay.
Number 9. If you had to eat just one snack, what would it be?
It's a snack related
You-
question. That's great.
Limited to snacks tomorrow. You can only pick one.
All right. So your favorite snack?
Oh no, that's hard because there's nutritional reasons. Can we just forget about
Forget
that?
that. Forget that. Who
Soylent
cares?
Green. No, I'm just kidding. No nutritional consideration. Um, it's hard for me not to think about that because what's coming to my head is beans right now. I'm like, beans are great protein. Like beans are life. So the first thought was beans, but that's definitely not my favorite food. If I had to go comfort food, it would be like a little piece of dark chocolate, like a charcuterie board of snacks, with fruit and salami and cheese, like goat cheese, or some mac and cheese, some good old-fashioned mac and cheese.
Have you tried that True Foo madness? I'm so addicted to True Foo.
Oh, and they're like dark chocolate covered.
Yes.
I've had the coconut balls. They were so good.
Oh yeah.
Pina colada is addictive. Right,
Yeah.
33. Have you ever pretended to be sick to get out of an obligation, including work?
Mom, if you're watching this,
No.
turn it off. Yes, absolutely. I have. I can't, no details, but yeah, I've done it. Guilty.
I think we all have. I don't really want to go out tonight.
Right.
It got so much easier with COVID because as soon as you say I have COVID, they're like, oh, stay home. That's it.
Right.
Yeah, I've worked in the service industry before, and one thing about that is that you're not allowed to go to work if you have diarrhea. So if you don't want to go to work, you don't even have to be that sick. You just have to let them know that, and then they're like, go, get out of here.
That's right.
You picked 67. Have you ever flunked your driving test?
No. I have not. I was very adamant about getting out of my house as soon as I turned 15. I was studying for the driver permit test days before I turned 15. The day I turned 16, I was like, let's go, I'm ready. And yeah, I've always been ready to move. And so yeah, I never failed. I had good my dad was a driver too, so he taught me well.
See, that's interesting because just guessing, you're probably about my daughter's age. I have 2 daughters. Both of them they didn't want to drive right away. Like they waited until they were 18. Like we got our licenses right away because we wanted to get the hell away from our parents. But it's interesting that you say that because I was surprised how the lack of urgency of my daughters to want to drive. They were like, oh no, it's okay.
I think it just means you guys are too cool of parents. Because I was raised Catholic, so I was like, let me get out of here.
Well, also I was driving their asses all over town too myself, so they had a chauffeur. That might have been part of it. It might have been my fault, So
We are also Catholics in recovery. We've quit.
Oh yeah.
We've quit.
Yeah.
It's how many years have we been?
Oh God, don't get us started. Yeah.
It's like an alcoholic. We're
Put it this way. So I was in the 8th grade and someone showed me Dio Holy Diver, and that was the dark path forever. I was like, they're drowning the priests. Where do I sign up? I don't even need to hear this. This is the greatest, ever. So and it just went downhill from there. So yeah.
I know. I went to a show a couple years ago. It was I Hate God and Cancer Christ and maybe goat horror all in one show. And they were ripping pages of the Bible and spraying blood on everyone in a priest outfit. And I was like, I feel like this is therapy right now. This is recovery for me.
Yeah, the singer for I Hate God, Mike Nine, he used to write for a publication I had. And I loved his reviews because everything was nails, death, Satan, the pit of despair. It was great. I couldn't wait to get his reviews in because he always had the best imagery, Yeah.
Yeah, Catholics do have great great imagery, I will say. I still feel culturally Catholic, just because it's like, I don't know, of all the religions in this part of the world, at least, this one's the most hardcore looking. So I still kind of fall back to it. I'm like, I love the chanting, I love all the candles. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'll be the like Catholic Church like aesthetic, you know.
Yeah.
I like when they translate that to black metal. What was it, Petrushka?
Yeah.
Oh God, they
Petrushka.
all look like some kind of popes up there. I mean, with the thing, but it's all black metal.
Yeah, I was just talking to my daughter the other day about it. I said, remember the church where you used to have brownies? Where she had brownies. I would drop you off there. I said, did you ever look at the pictures of the past priests in that church? Because we're talking Slayer album covers here. I mean, scary as shit. These guys were all pedos, obviously, just down the line. The black and white. I mean, these guys made like Charles Manson look like welcome, you know. It was just, and she was like, no, I never noticed that. I was like, oh, I did. Yeah.
It looks like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Put a priest collar on him automatically. I'm suspicious, you know. So
Well,
I
it's
will
funny
say-
you bring up the funny Pope hat, because I just thought of like the Witch Club Satan group, and they have these like very obscure like hats and headpieces they make, and it's very ritualistic, terrifying, but stage performance. But I really like it because it's like the Pope hat, it's so ridiculous. These antiquated costumes are so crazy, but they are very scary. It's like if you want to kind of that air of like authority and fear, wear a really tall, weird, pointy hat, and you get that message across.
Yeah,
have
what
you
is
guys?
Frank-
Do you guys know the band Dogma?
Say again?
Dogma, they're called.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when they first came out, I was like totally on board because it's, you know, it's what, like five hot chicks dressed as corpse painted nuns, you know, with fishnets and stuff, right? But unfortunately, the management keeps screwing them. People they keep replacing them. So it's like, you know, they don't like if someone's unhappy, they're just like, well, we'll just get another one in corpse paint to replace you. So there's been a lot of stuff online about how they've been exploited and they can barely play their own instruments and blah blah blah, which is a shame. But when they first came out, I was so on board with the sexy satanic nuns. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad they're treating them that way, because you can't really grow like if you don't respect the members. And
That's right. That's
need
right.
to
Like
work
they treat them
together.
like they're just models, you know, basically. They're irreplaceable. So yeah, it's really a shame.
K-pop factory stuff.
So you have some local upcoming shows, including the album release party show. Do you play any songs from the first album? And if so, did you have to change them to kind of tailor the new lineup?
Yeah, we did. Until we had a full set of new stuff, we did try to do some of the old stuff, and I think some of it just doesn't mix with what we're doing now, but I think also like Michael's, I mean, obviously he's a baritone and all that, but the key that he chooses to sing in, I think, like Marina, you were like, just a lot of it just didn't feel natural, right? Like some of it was just like, I obviously didn't write this, isn't my voice.
The changes in my voice just happened at different points that were awkward. Like, some of my range would fit into his range, and then some of it I had to be an octave higher, and like the changes during that part of the song. I mean, I feel like I enjoyed doing it still, but it felt so much more natural when it was the things I was writing, for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
So I love the different reactions of kind of like post-metal crowds. Some stand like frozen. Others, will go to a slow mosh pit or crowd surfing. How do most fans react to your shows live, and what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen?
People don't move in Portland, man. You're going to say something.
They all look like this.
Yeah. We get headbutts. if you get this, like, all right, that's good in Portland. Good
They're all
job.
protecting themselves by
Yeah.
like crossing their arms or something. Like it's, I don't know.
Yeah. We get a lot of that in Baltimore, actually. There'll be nights where we're watching some band and they're just like tearing it up. And I look around and it's all this. And I'm like, but they're never gonna fucking come back here. They're gonna go DC, Philly next time, like that's always our thought, So,
I have a
Yeah.
hard time making eye contact or like looking at the audience. It's something I'm overcoming. I feel like I'm almost ready to not be afraid anymore. But I've been thinking maybe like I'm supposed to be engaging with the audience a little more, and so I've been brewing on that idea that maybe I should push people out of their comfort zone too, because it is, the Northwest scene is very like don't show your emotion, like yeah, it's hard to read. So I kind of have been thinking about stepping off stage a little bit and just like entering people's bubble just to see what happens. But it'd be interesting to see if different cities had a different reaction too.
Yeah.
So each of you may have a different answer for this, but if you could pick any band to open for, existing or now or in the past, who would you have your band open for?
Marina, you go first.
Oh God.
Mine's
I was
too
like,
easy.
well, maybe I could think of that but then you said in the past as well, not even currently existing. And I'm like, well, that's just ruined everything.
Yeah, live or dead, it doesn't matter.
That's
Yeah.
too
We can do
much.
resurrections. It's fine.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I think I can't even begin to like choose right now, but I do know we've talked about as a band, a couple bands that we would love to play with. That's like kind of our dream currently performing bands. Just because we feel we all are fans, and also I feel like maybe we'd be a good fit because we are thinking about what other bands do we sound like, or what are our influences? What would make a good show with us, or like what kind of bands are we aspiring to? So, I think Tooth is one of those bands that
cool.
that we would love to play with. Stop too.
Yeah.
We've all said we want to play with.
Damn, now I got to think of another answer.
Oh, it's fine. I said two, so if that was
Yeah, we're
your-
going to see Tooth, what, end of the summer?
Yeah, because their show got moved.
Yeah.
August.
August, right, yeah. Yeah, big fans, yeah.
I think Russian Circles would be really fun to open for. I feel like, I don't know, it would be a good complimentary vibe. That would be really fun. But yeah, Yob is definitely the first thing I thought of.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I interviewed Mike Scheit, God, decades ago, right? And I remember he was talking about some theme in his lyrics. This is before the lawsuits and everything. And he was kind of like, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. And he goes, it's just my bullshit, man. Don't pay any attention to it. I'm like, it was just like the greatest. Like sailing away on a grilled cheese sandwich kind of thing, It's just so fun, He was a great guy. What a great band,
That's what everyone that I know that knows him, because they're from Eugene, not far from here. So you guys were just there. That's the first thing everyone says about him is like, he's just such a great dude.
Yeah, he's so down to earth and yeah, big time. Yeah.
Well, we hope to catch you in Baltimore someday. If you ever get out this way, we'll be the idiots in the front row screaming, maybe wearing a banana costume. I don't know.
Yeah, don't just do DC Philly. We're here, so
We'd love
Or
to,
maybe
man. Love
I
to
can
make
wear,
it.
when we interviewed Don from Nun Slaughter, I have a nun outfit, so maybe I'll wear that for him.
Ooh,
We'll
Wear
keep it
it
out
up.
in Baltimore.
Maybe I'll wear it. Who knows?
Falling on deaf ears.
You're good.
Okay, Deaf Ears 1 is the new album from Castaic, Poppies and Incarnations. Have you ever noticed that some people are weird about the rain? Diligently watching the forecast, hankering for sun, and more sun, world without end, amen. These people act like you defiled their culotta if a sudden shower rolls in. Some people actually change their plans just to avoid the rain, canceling doctor appointments, taking sick days, choosing to sit under the covers, munching on cheese doodles in their underwear until the sun comes out. Personally, I like a little gloomy weather. The rain is soothing. It's good for the garden. And if I go for a run in a light shower, it's instantly refreshing, as opposed to 90-degree sun, which gets me sweating like some kind of farm animal for 3 hours at a clip. There's something about a cool gray rain that's almost reassuring, comforting, and satisfying, even if it means fire pit night is postponed.
California-based post-rockers Castaic, named for the town, I assume, play a sort of hypnotizing music that seems perfectly crafted for a rainy day. The album consists of 10 songs, most in the short but potent 3 to 4 minute range. Lots of soothing, cold wave adjacent, jangled segments via guitarist Frank Velazquez, low buzzing bass lines, haunting vocal performances, and introspective lyrics from singer Noel Paris, arranged with a colorful, vibrant production for almost surreal musical experience, and all of it available on beautiful hand-screened CDs and cassettes for your listening pleasure. Handheld Heaven, about a truly great sandwich perhaps, is a great place to start on this 30-minute stroll through languid melodies and dreamy hooks. Kicking off on a slow trot tempo, Velazquez's arpeggios offer up gem-like sparkle, soon syncopating with Paris's brooding vocals. Drums tick like a steady pulse, a springboard for the swirl of dreamy guitar chimes, and that ruminating voice in a performance reminiscent of psychedelic furs or even ocean blue. Let's hear a little of this achingly beautiful song. Let's play a clip. Handheld Heaven.
Deco Flowers is another favorite track, full of languid, unhurried charms. Drums tick like a metronome as Velazquez pulls at heartstrings with luscious strums and twinkling space signals. This is not music for a raging beer party. It's the soundtrack to a moonlit stroll, a ride through the woods, a stretch under the night stars.
Finally, one of the more up-tempo tracks, Pressed Pills, deserves mention. This one falling much more in line with the post-punk genre style. Drums, a dancey pulse, bass thrumming magnificently, little melodic gems wandering over the chords. Paris delivers the chorus with a sort of detached aplomb. They say with patience you receive peace of mind. I'll wait it out, as the gits toss out waves of bell-like gems.
This record's profound sense of melancholy really stuck with me over this past month, so I ordered one of the aforementioned hand-screened discs, and I feel particularly good about it. The day is overcast, the sky gray approaching white. The garden flourishes. A cool breeze weaves through the trees, and these sweet melodies are the perfect soundtrack for it. The sun will return before we know it, but in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with embracing the gloom a little. And don't cancel your dermatology appointment tomorrow. That rash on your neck is downright nasty, my friend. Let's hear Pressed Pills. Okay, Deaf Ears 2.
This is Hans Gruber and the Diehards Hans Gruber and the Diehards.
Don't ask.
Naming your band after diehard antagonist Hans Gruber, the fictional West German mastermind planning to steal $640 million for the vault beneath Nakatomi Plaza, may initially sound like an alcohol-fueled bad decision that somehow stuck. But considering Gruber also indirectly inspired John McClane's immortal "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," it becomes obvious just how deeply Die Hard embedded itself into pop culture. The film itself remains responsible for simultaneously igniting the eternal culture war over whether Die Hard is or is not a Christmas movie. So really, the name makes perfect sense for a band built entirely on organized mayhem. Because Hans Gruber and the Diehards do not sound accidental. Their music lands somewhere between the metal prog weirdness of dog fashion disco back when they still had a horn section, and the repetitive, hypnotic, off-kilter vocal phrasing of Sparks, all slammed through a food processor, full of ska punk, metal, hardcore, cumbia grooves, and a pinch of theatrical absurdity.
Everything this band does comes across like a carefully controlled circus chaos, with 7 full-time members, and on their 4th album, contributions from more than 30 guest musicians. Hans Gruber and the Diehards have evolved beyond simply a band. They feel more like a collective cult. The fact that the record received support from Austin, Texas's Live Music Event Fund only reinforces that this isn't some novelty act stumbling into attention. As a driving force in the city's musical pulse, we get 12 tracks to toot our horn to, all in the taut 1 to 3 minute range. A standout track right away for me was Chambacu, with vocals entirely in Spanish. After a bit of research, I learned that it's the name of a Colombian neighborhood once dismissed by the upper class as a slum and an eyesore, later demolished by the local government in 1971, forcibly relocating 8,000 residents. The repeated, almost unhinged shouting of Chambacu, at first, I'll admit, was an eyebrow-raising "what's happening here" moment, until history clicked into place for me.
Musically, it opens with trumpet carrying a loose sliding melody, quickly echoed by a fuller horn section. Rosie Armstrong enters with a soaring a cappella vocal full of vibrato and emotion. When the drums kick in, the horns begin bounding like a polka-like urgency, an oompa tension that turns the groove into something frantic, like a downhill run while dancing a can-can style of infectious energy. Kurt Armstrong cuts through with a chant like chorus, screaming, "Champa-caw! Champa-caw!" with a kind of possessed intensity. In contrast, Rosie returns in between eruptions with clean melodic lines in Spanish that translate to "My beautiful beloved neighborhood and my land I never forgot." Midway through, a flute solo flits over maraca shakes before the arrangement snaps back into the hurried, can-can-like shuffle, now joined by eclectic guitars tucked into the mix. By the end, layered vocals hover over hand percussion scratching, shaking, slowly fading out.
The Sparks like "Pay Your Tolls" hits you over the head with its chorus until you're involuntarily singing along. The repetition is theatrical, slightly absurd, almost comedic in its bluntness, but it works like a baited hook snagging a trout. The track opens with a playful, high-vibrating synth notes, maybe fired up by Jeremy Carlson on that Hammond B3 listed in the credits. A kick drum snapping into place against a quick guitar lick that set up each launch into the chorus. Everything feels hectic and slightly overwrought, the synth skittering like a calliope on a double espresso binge. The verses lean into a high school musical energy, with Kurt and Rosie joined by members of Doom Scroll, snare pops driving the momentum forward. Later in the song, beneath the vocals, there are shouts and cheers, like a crowd egging on a favorite team mid-game. As the lyrics escalate, the tone darkens. Pay this toll, pay my fine, or I'll do some fucking time. Doesn't matter how you struggle, miss a bill and you are in trouble. In a completely different vein, but equally dark and apocalyptic, The Gospel According to Tabby opens with Rosie and Kurt breaking into frantic vocal fry over an alarm-like synth line and unrelenting kick drum strikes, with wandering notes floating through the mix like debris. Then everything drops out except for a steady drum thwack, and Danger Dangerfield laying down a swaggering bass line, thick and tumbling.
The vocals return layered and distorted, full of piss and vinegar, while the bass continues its push-pull throb and the drums tick like a secondhand spilling time. Pundits summon storms, politicians rain down fire, nations began to drown in overwhelming power. Later, pouting trumpet notes join the chorus like a squeaky hinge. The bass melody returns, but distant now as if heard through a transistor radio, joined by a pogoing trumpet and a flute that flounces around. Finally, the full wall of sound crashes back in like a tidal wave.
There's nothing like a flouncing flute.
Truly, there's not. Let's play a clip. This is the gospel according to Tabby.
What's coming? I felt it in my bones. They struck, shouldn't wait. Never left a vision shown. I'm living from the highway. I'm lighting on fires and road. Watch away the good and the evil. In the devil is silent source. Positions laid down fire.
I think my favorite track is Treepanation, and not just because I can think of more than one person who could benefit from a few holes being drilled into their skull as a kind of backwoods exorcism. The track opens with Chris Thompson's drums riding a wave of Dangerfield's groaning bass, contrasted against a high trilling horn melody that feels kind of triumphant over the chaos. Rosie's vocals duck in with punkish disdain and just a dash of cheerleader pep, while Kurt's vocals lurk underneath like a shadow. As the song races forward, the whole thing grows increasingly manic.
Guitar riffs splinter and strike while Thompson attacks his kit with escalating violence. Then the chorus suddenly reins in the momentum as guitars slowing into a grinding churn. Vocals dropping into a rougher growl before the song lunges forward again. Suddenly, everything briefly strips down to a few muffled bass notes as the band is pausing to catch its breath before diving back into the sprint. By the track's end, chaos mutates into a bizarre pirate-like gang chant of "Hey, hey, ho, ho, these spirits have got to go." It's nonsensical, over the top, and yet completely fitting. One by one, the vocals pile on top of each other until the entire song feels like one big chant over still racing instruments. Finally, the band runs out of steam and the track implodes. If your musical taste includes ska punk, hardcore, thrash, cumbia, sarcastic social commentary, and a band capable of leaping from upbeat skank rhythms into metallic fury in a single bound, then Hans Gruber and the Diehards may become your new favorite beautiful disaster. Their live reputation may honestly be even bigger than the records themselves at this point. As one fan put it, you're going to be moving for the ride. And much like Hans Gruber and John McClane himself, the band succeeds because they are fully committed to the plan. So join in or get flattened by the conga line. Your move. Yippee-ki-yay. Let's hear Trepanation.
Your eyes, something evil lurks. I swear, I've seen it. Drill a hole and relieve it first. The only way to relieve the stress. A hole through the skull. Please don't digress. Did you know when evil grows, it hides away inside your mind? Point out with your inactions that you dare not defy.
Okay, Deaf Ears 3 is the new album from Crocodiles, Greetings from Hell. Seems like we don't hear much greetings from as we used to. I mean, we had greetings from Asbury Park, greetings from your hometown, even greetings from Chernobyl. But I think titles like this are becoming rare because our personal connection to the postcard isn't what it used to be. It used to be as soon as you got settled into your hotel, the family would run out and get a bunch of postcards to mail back home. You couldn't write very much on them, though. Having a great time. Mom ate Mexican and got food poisoning. Or, wish you were here. It hasn't stopped raining for a week. Actually, examples like these have me thinking that the death of the postcard is happening for a reason.
And you always beat them home. Always. It didn't matter if you mailed them the second you got
That's
it.
right. That's right.
You still would be home.
Did you get the
sweet.
postcard? What? Yeah. I know.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Another week, another great band I've slept for.
Slept for. Another band I've slept with. All right, come on, let's reel it. Let's reel this in. Come on.
We let those hoes run.
Let those hoes run around.
Another week, another great band I've slept on for 18 years. No exaggeration. Greetings from Hell is Crocodile's 9th record since originally forming back in 2008, and it brings us 10 songs in the rip-roaring 2 to 4 minute range. What follows is a blistering and sassy take on garage punk with lots of quirky titles, vocal witticisms, surfy drum breakouts, and deeply satisfying music as a soundtrack for bad decisions and reheated carryout. The band is comprised of 3 multi-instrumentalists with a fondness for hard-slashing power chords and the low-slung vocal approach of frontman Brandon Welch. In Love with a Ghost is a good as place to start as any, with these three degenerates kicking off on a glorious slacker riff that dances over a stout bass line, the three demonstrating their flair for chord economy and the ability to say a lot without overplaying. Welch delivering whip-smart lines like, "I adore my own thoughts, they have given me lots to fret about. While I sleepwalk through life, they guide my demise." Let's play a clip. I'm in love with a ghost.
Trying to survive. I'm in love with a feeling that's already done. I adore my own thoughts. They have given me lots to fret about. While I sleepwalk through life, they plan my demise.
Let's Be Strangers may be the strongest track on the disc, with riffing that walks the tightrope between replacement sneer and New York Dolls bombast. You can't beat a chorus like, "I feel really weird, so let's be strangers." Do you realize how many people I would like to say that to? Look, this acquaintance thing isn't really my cup of tea. It's just as slightly obnoxious and snappy as all get out, and they sneak in a sort of mangled guitar harmony and lead towards the end of the song, which is an unusual change of pace in this genre. Well, there you go, another veteran band you didn't know about, and you are welcome, my friend. Get over to their Bandcamp page and grab a vinyl copy of Greetings from Hell. Don't look for shirts, though, because apparently they ain't got none. Really, guys? Very disappointing. Looking forward to their next postcard from Mark and Stace. How about Arrived at Wildwood? The beach smells like dead fish. Let's hear Let's Be Strangers. Made it through.
It was very weird. The postcards from Ocean City always took over a week to get back, but my mail from overnight camp always got through within a day or two. Very weird.
Because it was, I don't know,
I don't know.
something postage related. Who knows?
Something postcard related.
I don't know. Right.
Not given priority.
This has been the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast. Special thanks to the gang from Burial Clouds for appearing on the show. Snaggletooth theme courtesy of Jens Kemgren of the Firebombs. Deaf Ears theme by Tim Green of the Fucking Champs. Season 4 artwork courtesy of KC Angel. You can find him on Instagram at KC Angel Art. Deaf Ears bands include Castaic, Hans Gruber and the Diehards, and Crocodiles. All content 2026, the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.
I was very excited. Jalapeno mustard, good. Southwest hot mustard, good. And then this happened.
Fuck. God damn it.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.